Hey Jesse, how you doing? Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you, Nick.
So last time we saw you, you came into the studio and showed us Push. That must have been probably a year or so ago.
Yeah, just about a year. We're about a year past our release now, so yeah.
So and today you're obviously big synth show, showing Push together with synths.
Yeah, sorry, just trying to get
a little bit
having trouble hearing you. Yeah, so we're about a year past the release. Been focusing on a lot of stability issues and bugs and new features, little stuff, and now we're heading into a new phase where we're going to start getting the most requested features and things like that. But it's a beast. It does a ton of different things, and I could show you a whole hour on sampling or creating instruments and sounds and things like that. But today, since we're at Superbooth, I thought I'd dive in deep to Modular and show some of the connections that you can do with Push and how you can make music combining these two kinds of things.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's have a look. So, tasty looking Modular here. So you did fly with this one?
I did fly with it, and my bag did get searched, and it's a lot to bring along, but it's kind of hard to improvise on somebody else's Modular because it's quite a personal thing.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Mine is set up for really to take advantage of the expressive pads of Push. So I've got up here, I've got this Trinity module by Modbap, which does a kick, snare, hi-hat, and that's going to get me, allow me to play the drums, but also add expression to them from the slide on my fingers. So, for instance, I can play this hi-hat, and as I go up the pad, I get the decay.
Oh, neat.
And for the snare, I'm changing the character of it and adding some echo. And the drums, the kick drum, I just add a little chirp to it. And then so really taking advantage of that, of all that powerful expression we have in the pads of Push.
And that's using the CV out channels on this, right? So how are you doing?
Yeah,
that?
let me go through my setup here. So the easiest way to do this would be to use the breakout cables, plug them into these pedal jacks, and then I'd set in the pedals and CV. I would set this to these can be sustain in or CV out. But since we're here at Superbooth, my setup is not simple, but I'm going to show you how you can do this kind of stuff. So for the drums, I've got these drums going, I've got the ADAT here connected to the Expert Sleepers ES6 and ES3.
Yeah, okay. So you're using CV out effectively.
Using CV out.
CV tools.
And in live here, I've got a drum rack, and on the drum rack, on each pad, I've got a CV instrument. And so that CV instrument allows me to also send out the slide value or the pressure value, whatever I want, to wherever I want here. So in this case, I'm taking 6 outs from the ES3 going to this Trinity module. So I've got a trigger for each drum. There's 3 drums. And then I've got the slide parameter going to these other things that I'm using there.
Neat. Actually, that's a neat way to do it. So you're actually getting an extra 8 channels of CV and gate. So yeah,
I get a lot more than 8 channels of CV. Yeah, I'll show you that. That's powered by the FH2 here.
Okay. So yeah.
This rack is sponsored by Expert Sleepers.
Oh, so you're coming out of the USB club, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, neat.
So I've got 8 ADAT outs and 6 ADAT ins, and then I've got the USB out going to the FH2 for my synthesizer, and that's going to give me 16 CV outs. So nice. I do a 4-voice with pitch, gate, slide, and pressure.
So you got a poly voice as well.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, okay, let's have a look at that.
They told me that doing an MPE polyphonic modular rig was a terrible idea, and they were probably right, but it's really cool. A lot of things can go wrong, though.
Nice. Not today. I'm confident.
There's no chance anything go wrong.
No jeopardy,
here.
no fun.
No.
Right?
Yeah. Got to live life on the edge.
All right, so
let's take you over to that voice, and I'll make a little music after that. So here I've got our pads. I've got 4 different voices in here. I've got Deckard's voice, which is like a CS80 from Black Corporation, Tone Star from Studio Electronics, which is like a 2600.
Yeah.
And then I've got 2 voices from Buchla 258T, and various things going in and out to control it in different ways. Yeah. But the main thing I'm doing is that gate CV pressure going, with the pressure's controlling this quad VCA here, so each voice gets a little pressure on it. And then I've got the slide generally going to filter cutoff, and maybe also pulse width or or in some cases I'm having to change the wave shape. My goal is to kind of set each voice kind of similar.
Right,
and
I mean, different voices.
And
so
then
be
even if the tuning's out a little bit, it still sounds great. And I think the FH2 does a great job of calibrating those voices and things too. So, really expressive sounds you can get out of it. And I can even add different effects to each voice too. So here I've got like a different delay on every voice with slightly different timings, and it just gives this wonderful color to the chords.
Proper analog poly. So everything's different.
Yep. Yeah, totally. Then the other things I've got here, I've got a little piano in here, and I think what I'm going to do is play a little piano and route some of that out of the 8-at out, going into this ring modulator, and then I'll mess around with it with some different elbows.
Right, so that's an audio out.
That's an audio out, yeah. So I'm definitely using the eight 8-at outs here, 6 8-at ins here, and 2 inputs here, and I've got the headphones giving me a click track, and the monitor's not doing a click track. So
I mean, this could be a replica of something. Are you gigging? Are you gigging while you're here? You seem to put all this together.
Not yet. No, I'd like to though, but it's a. I'm not sure I'm ready to gig with this yet, but we'll see. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's have a look.
What's that?
Let's go.
Okay, great. I'm going to take it to chromatic mode. Of course, all these things, different things I can do. So turn it up a little bit. So what I'm going to do now, I think, is I'm going to start recording to a click track of just this, and I'll start adding some different loops.
Okay.
One thing I've got going on here is I've got the fixed length on, and what that does for me is it allows me to just press record once, and it'll automatically loop after 8 bars. That keeps my hands kind of free when I'm doing a kind of demo or things like that. So, and then I'm in clip view, so you can see the notes going in. I can always go to my devices. I have compressors. I've got all of Live's built-in effects, all running standalone here. And I've also got some Max for Live devices on here. So, you know, this can be my sequencer, this can be my sequencer, this can be my effects, this can be my effects. It's kind of however you want to set it up and combine it yourself. But with all that connection, I'm really flexible as to what I do. And I do a little of each. Like sometimes I use Ableton effects, sometimes I use effects here, sometimes I sequence here, sometimes there.
Yeah.
All right, so let me record a little bit here. So now that'll start to loop. I can start adding some drums to it. But I'm going to cheat and put it on the repeat here. Now I can add some Max for Live device here. I've got a little bit of glitch I'm going to add, but just to the snare and the hi-hat. It's totally flexible where I want to add this stuff. So I don't want it on the kick. I want that kick to retain its thump, but I want the rest of it to get a little gritty. Now I'm going to play some piano on it. Now, as I said before, I've got that piano going in through here out of 8 here, and I'm going to bring that into my ring modulator. And now I can take some of these. Luckily I've got a cable in my back pocket, but
always prepared.
And I'm going to take this. The ring modulator is going into here. I've got a little, turning up that external instrument a little bit. And now that ring modulator is getting affected down here by this. I've got a little like this quad function generator, which is giving me sort of like a nice LFO, but in kind of a weird shape. So I can make it get a little clicky. Maybe I'll turn down the modular a little bit so we can hear that a little better. You can hear it starting to chop up. Take those drums. I can mix, of course, and do as many different sections as I want in our session view, but right now I'm just doing one scene for this demo. And I can take this, start mixing out different elements.
Yeah, I'm hearing that.
And that's how I'm using Push with Modular. A 4-voice MPE polyphonic synth, a couple instruments in effect from inside, and then some expressive drums. So it's really powerful what you can do with these pads.
And
that's the guy who made them.
Hey, there he is. Give us a wave. So, this is getting kind of, we're starting to see there's a what's the word I'm looking for? It's starting to have a longer tail. There's a longer tail to this now that is kind of, you're bringing in features. Are you finding that there are issues where you want to record, where you want to add features to Push that maybe Ableton as software doesn't need as much? So keeping it parity must be really hard.
It's a really good question, because we have a balance we have to do of like supporting new features for live, but also supporting old features for live that we don't have yet on here. So like sometimes there's a new cool MIDI transformation or something, but we have basics that we haven't yet done on here. So we have a lot of work to do, and we're excited. We have a big team to do it. There are things that probably get added to live because of what, like MPE for one, we did because of Push.
Right, okay.
So there's probably going to be more of that in the future. There's some really exciting stuff we have in the works for how to use these pads in different ways. And our Push team sometimes works on the live code base because that we need something there. So it's both following what live does and also sort of innovating things ourselves as well. So
right. So I mean, and the hardware is all still available. That you could still buy the upgrade kits. It's all So same deal. Are you mostly selling it direct? Because that's one thing I'm hearing. Yes.
We're selling it mostly direct. With a couple retailers have it in different countries. So
Jesse, thank you.
Thank you very much.